Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, we intend to provide a very detailed information statement on the climate change bill and indeed some of the key provisions. But I'd like to thank the honourable member for this question because she's probably responding to the fairly long period of consultations we've had with members of the public over the past 3 months or so, both online and offline. We've received numerous submissions from members of the public on the climate change bill. But Mr. Speaker, sir, before I also talk about the way forward, the climate change, of course, Mr. Speaker, sir, through our Honourable Prime Minister, in particular through COP23, has put climate change not just internationally but also within Fiji, create an awareness about the impact not just of climate change but our necessity for us to become active and long-term and have long-term strategic thinking as to what we will do internationally and what we will do indeed domestically. What we can do domestically, Mr. Speaker, sir, of course, is put in place various policy measures, whether it's about carbon fluorocarbons, whether it's about various other measures that we do take vis-à-vis our environment, vis-à-vis our biodiversity, but also our commitment to reducing fossil fuels and focusing more on renewable energy, Mr. Speaker, sir. And indeed, we have led from the front, as the Honourable Prime Minister said on a number of occasions, that notwithstanding the fact that our carbon footprint is almost negligible, internationally speaking and comparatively speaking, that we need to lead from the front by showing an example of what other countries can do. Through, Mr. Speaker, sir, through a robust legislation, we can introduce new tools and mechanisms to deal with emerging and unprecedented challenges brought about through climate change. Mr. Speaker, sir, having a National Climate Change Act will actually, in fact, mobilize a cross-sectorial response to climate change, improve our ability to understand it, plan for it, avert risks and help us to unlock new opportunities for our new private sector and increase our access to emerging carbon markets. We've talked about carbon trading, and indeed this climate change bill, the draft bill, addresses those issues. The implementation of the period of the Paris Agreement begins in 2020, Mr. Speaker, sir. This is why everybody is talking about the UK hosting the climate COP27 is critically important. And therefore, we need to have the legal basis and structures required to progress our commitments in ways commensurate with the urgency we face regarding climate change. It requires a dynamic legislative framework, one that helps us to protect both people and environment, and indeed deliver our nationally determined contributions, Mr. Speaker, sir, while enabling all Fijians to benefit from opportunities that come hand in hand with low-carbon transition. As I said, Mr. Speaker, sir, we hope at a later stage give fuller details of the bill itself. But as has been highlighted, the consultations we've been having with members of the public, both online. We've had enormous support, in particular from the younger people. A lot of people who were on the fringes weren't actually commenting, but when we put it out to, in particular through social media and various other mediums, we've had tremendous support. We're currently in the stage of collating all those responses, Mr. Speaker, sir, and some of the suggestions actually have been very useful. And indeed, we are looking at inputting some of that into a further redraft of the draft bill, Mr. Speaker, sir. And we will then go out again, Mr. Speaker, sir, to members of the public by having some direct public consultations, Mr. Speaker, sir, to fine-tune the bill again. We've already had responses from, for example, organizations like TLTB, the private sector, various other organizations, including, for example, the Fijian Navy, the private sector, who want to take opportunities vis-à-vis the climate change bill, and of course an understanding of carbon trading itself, because there are enormous opportunities for us in carbon trading. So once the redraft of the draft bill has been done, Mr. Speaker, sir, which we hope to finish by end of this month, end of March, we will then go out to members of the public in April, and then do perhaps some more redrafting and bring or table the bill to this Parliament by the end of May, Mr. Speaker, sir. And we hope to have the bill approved by Parliament, because we've gone through such an extensive period of consultations. It should not linger in Parliament, but indeed be something that we could launch given our 50th celebrations. And that should be one of the hallmarks or milestones indeed of us becoming a nation that's 50 years old now with the launch of our Climate Change Act. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.